Hey guys, welcome to Modern React from the beginning. So this is a 25-hour course that focuses on both the fundamentals of React and how to use it in modern environments like React Router version 7 framework mode, TanStack, the MERN stack. We also introduce technologies like TypeScript and some other common technologies used with React. And I designed this course so that someone with no experience in React can start from scratch as long as you know JavaScript, but also for developers that do have some experience that are looking to deepen their understanding of how React works in different real-world environments. So we go into key concepts like component lifecycle and how and when components re-render, and touch on how React works under the hood. And instead of building random throwaway projects, each project is geared toward a specific learning purpose. So the first project is very simple in functionality. It's geared towards beginners, and it's a feedback UI or rating UI. But the focus isn't the project itself. We use it to teach core fundamentals like components, props, state, events. React is all about interactive UIs built with components. So we go step by step to teach this stuff to absolute beginners in this first section. Now, to learn about working with HTTP requests, along with the use effect hook, working with APIs, we build a CryptoDash app that interacts with the CoinGecko API and shows pricing data along with filters and sorting controls. So we create some UI effects. We implement React Router version 7 in declarative mode, as well as implement Chart.js to show some price changes over time. Now, in addition to React Router in declarative mode, we also use the new framework mode with SSR capabilities. And we do this in a portfolio website called the Friendly Dev. So we start out by using JSON server for serving projects and markdown files for blog posts. But once we get the front end up and running, we then implement Strappy, which is a headless content management system, to make things more scalable and make it more like a real world project. So we create a product and post content types within the Strappy admin area. And we also use Cloudinary for image hosting. So we basically decouple the front end and back end, and it's completely separate. And we deploy Strappy to render.com, and we deploy the front end to Vercel. Then we get into the context API. So we build a shopping cart UI with a product and a cart context. And this allows us to access the cart items from any component in the UI. So it will teach you how to deal with global state and prevent something called prop drilling. And if you have no clue what these terms are, if you've never used React ever, that's fine. It'll all make sense later because we go through step by step. And we build another classic project from past React courses called GitHub Finder, which interacts with the GitHub API to search and filter users and display their profile data. So it will also show recent searches and even be able to follow and unfollow users. The focus of this project is TanStack Query, which handles all the data fetching, caching, and background updates. And it's a powerful tool that replaces things like useEffect and useState for API calls and gives you a much better dev experience when working with server state. And you'll also learn how to refactor your components and make them leaner and more maintainable. This will be a common theme throughout the entire course. And we also have a full stack MERN project for sharing startup ideas and side projects. And in the front end, we're going to focus on TanStack Router and TanStack Query. And again, we start out just using JSON server to serve the ideas, but then we move on to create our own backend API with Node.js, Express, MongoDB. We also implement using JSON Web Tokens for authentication. And unlike past courses where I would store a long-lived token in local storage, we instead have a short-lived access token along with a refresh token in an HTTP-only cookie. And what we'll do is have the refresh token generate a new access token when we need it. So it's a little advanced for some people, but it's kind of a bonus because it's out of the scope of React anyway. But I figured that some people would want to, dabble in full stack. So that's kind of the gist of the course. I know that some of you are brand new to React and don't understand some of the terms that I just mentioned. That explanation is more for people that know a little bit about React, but don't worry if you don't know any of it, because we're going to start from absolute scratch. The rating UI or feedback UI is a simple project where we'll go over what components are, what state is, how to handle events, just all the core fundamentals. All right, so let's get into it and let's start to learn React.